Thank you. Governor, thank you for your incredible support that you've shown in the Department of Children and Family Services every day of this crisis. To my fellow leaders here today, your collaboration over the past few weeks has been inspiring. The network of organizations that make up the child welfare system in Illinois are completely dedicated to keeping children safe during this crisis. DCFS is central to the child welfare system, but we never do this work alone. Our partners in the private sector make up 85% of the workforce that protects children. Every day we work hand in hand with judges, state's attorneys, law enforcement, the ACLU, the Cook County Public Guardian, and with Child Advocacy Center, and with hundreds of social service organizations that support our children and families. Our internal emergency planning team has worked closely with other agencies like IDPH and IEMA, who are experienced in responding to infectious disease outbreaks. Together, we have made urgent and necessary changes to our system in response to the spread of COVID-19. Here's what that means for our families and the communities that rely on our system of care. Based on Governor Pritzker's decisive action to protect our state workforce, today, 88% of our DCFS workforce no longer report to an office. But even with that change, we are still providing the support that families and communities depend on. I am proud to announce that every call floor worker at the Abuse and Neglect Hotline for the past 2 weeks, every call floor worker has been taking calls from the safety of their home. In addition, we are allowing caseworkers to practice social distancing while they continue to check on the well-being of our kids. Starting on March 20th, DCFS announced new guidelines for caseworkers, residential monitors, and birth parents, giving them the ability to use phone and video to replace many of their in-person contacts with their children. However, the reality is, to ensure that we are keeping children safe, and some in-person contact must continue. DCFS has provided protective gear to our frontline staff and to the staff of our private partners who have asked for assistance. Over the last 2 weeks, DCFS has distributed more than 400,000 protective gloves and 15,000 masks and disinfectant and cleaning supplies across the state. We are continuing to work with IEMA and other sources to acquire more protective gear, including a shortage of child-sized masks. DCFS is extending services for any youth in care aging out of the system through this crisis, including any youth that have aged out in the last 6 months. This particularly vulnerable population needs the help of housing and other expenses, and we are making every effort to give them what they need. DCFS has also increased board payments to our foster parents for March and for April to assist in additional expenses they are facing. And we are providing additional funding for foster care, intact, and residential providers to assist with COVID-related issues. I share these examples to demonstrate that we are rapidly adjusting our system to care for so we can balance the needs and reduce the spread of the virus. With ever-present needs to protect our children from the dangers they face, even in the best of times. This work will not end. DCFS will keep adapting and responding to changing nature of this crisis. And with this action we must all take as a society, we will continue to assess how these disruptions bring new threats to the well-being of our state's children. There are countless heroes who are serving on the front lines every day to protect us from the coronavirus. Among the medical personnel and first responders, let us also count child protection investigators and caseworkers who leave their homes bravely every day to protect the children from the harms of abuse and neglect. I would like to personally thank every DCFS employee, from our fiscal department who ensure checks go out, to our IT partners at iDoIt, who have ensured that we can continue to protect and serve our children, and to every child protection investigator and case manager who has put themselves in harm's way to protect our children. And most lovingly and supportively, our foster parents, who have kept and maintained the care for Illinois' children and stepped up as a true leader in the demonstration of the heart and love we have for our families. Thank you. I'd like to welcome Secretary Hull to the podium.